Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Oftentimes in this part of the world, we regularly hear the following lines. If not for marriage, I would have been. If not for marriage, I would have achieved this. I would have attained this height. If not for motherhood, I would have been at the top of the echelon of the society. I had to sacrifice my ambitions, my goals, my marriage. I gave it up for marriage, everything up for family. So on this segment, we want to look at some of the examples, the factors and the limitations involved. Is it true that marriage limits people? Is it possible for one to be married and still attain his or her life's dreams? Are substantial sacrifices like this inevitable? How can partners support each other to grow and develop to attain fulfillment personally? You can join us on the conversation by calling us on 020-163-520-013 or 090-2416-3440. The numbers are right there on your screen. Tweet to us at X. #YourViewTVC so we can hear from you. We're also streaming live on YouTube where we can take your comments as well. So I saw a video just yesterday similar to this one about the husband and wife about to run. And then the husband was carrying like 3 children and the wife wasn't carrying anybody. And so they just blew the whistle and they tried running and the woman pew. And the husband couldn't run because of course he was carrying 3 children and then one shoe fell and he had to slow down. And they said this is a physical depiction of what happens to women when they have to handle children, marriage, and expecting them to run at the same pace. But is this true? Because we are all ladies on this show, flying high. So sometimes it might seem like, what are we saying? Is it true that you make sacrifices for marriage to work? Is it true that sometimes women sacrifice their ambition for their marriage to be successful?
So life is about sacrifices, compromises, you know. You can't just be smile all life. Life is cry, smile, beautiful times, sad times. And those things gather together to fulfill you. Well, to now make it about your fulfillment to just one aspect of life is why this conversation even comes up at all. That you say, I gave up this for this. You must give up something for something. Yeah. We gave up our playtime to go to school. Sure. If they leave me, I foresee the road for that hill where they like place at, you know. We gave up things to be here. We put in work to have one. So to now look after you have one and look back and think, oh, I didn't have the other. It's almost like some people are lucky they have it all. With a good support system, you can actually have it all. But sometimes we've had MDs of banks. We had our women we love, 2 MDs, and they said something gave. Something. One was talking about how her first child had to be the one who carried the burden and that she's now in the journey of trying to compensate her first child. And so I don't like when that conversation is had about, I gave up something. When you are where you are at part-time, reflect on the good that has come eventually. To think, oh, I gave up I gave up my life, my career for marriage. If marriage was the blessing, would your career would it have been enough that you had your career and you didn't have it? You want it all. And so one thing might come not exactly proportionate to how the other one goes. So if you're giving 90% of your career and you have 10% of your marriage, is that fulfillment at the end of the day? Wherever you are, I think that reflection should be about gratitude of where you are part-time, not what you have missed at a time. This conversation of I gave up. Imagine that you had kids and you're now telling your kids, oh, I raised you, giving up something for you. Were you not going to raise them anyway? Were you not going to be there for them? Did you want them to come and be competing with them as per resources?
Anyway, I'll come back to you. Let me hear from you.
Okay, so for me, I feel like we shouldn't be very solid when we are creating dreams, when we are thinking about the dreams that we want to fulfill in life. Because you know what they say, man proposes, but God disposes. I also feel that dreams should be like Android systems and where you have to update your OS and all that, you know, update to the next level. So I feel like sometimes we talk about our dreams and we think about our dreams from the standpoint where we are, our present standpoint. But as we progress in life, as we move forward, we see the need to adjust or to do certain adjustments to our dreams. Let's say, for instance, when I was growing up, I said I wanted to be a lawyer. But today I'm a broadcaster. I'm a broadcaster.
She went to study law and she's a broadcaster.
You see? So, our dreams are made by certain disruptions, interferences, and zeal and desire to either push forward or maybe reevaluate. So I also feel that people shouldn't be pressured into saying, okay, I want to be, okay, I must be this, forgetting the present reality. For instance, now, you can say, I want to be I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor at 25, and maybe before 25, you fall in love, and then you get pregnant, and you have to get married, and at the end of the day, you're not the doctor at 25. We've seen people graduate at 60 and at 50. We've seen people train up their children, finish their own line of raising a family before achieving their dreams. So I feel the reason we are talking about I'm supposed to have been this and I didn't do this is because of the pressure, unnecessary pressure we put on ourselves. As I said, expectations bring about pressure. The expectation might be from you or from the people you're saying, we were classmates, so this person now is now the governor's wife, or this person, I'm supposed to have been this, so if not for this. People have different pathways. What are you encountering on your road to achieving your goal? That's what's most important. It's not the goal that you've already put. Sometimes you can say, okay, this is my goal I want to achieve, but what is best for you is the other goal you're experiencing at the moment. So I actually feel that we shouldn't, how do I even put it now? We shouldn't actually be stuck in our ways to say, okay, this is the dream and it has to be this dream at a particular time.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. For me, I don't see those things as sacrifices. I see them as life choices according to the priority you have placed on each one. Everybody has a checklist, right? So you may want to be a medical doctor, but in your checklist, the first there is marriage and family. The medical doctor comes next.
Scale of
now,
preference.
when you now choose to, okay, let me focus because of the resources that I have available to me, the time frame and everything, let me focus on raising my family first. It doesn't mean that you have failed or that you sacrificed. You chose to focus on that first because it met a need at the time. So don't come out and say, I sacrificed. That sacrifice you called it was fulfilling a need at that time. You were doing something for somebody or for your children or for your, but it was also meeting a need that you had to be the best mother you could be at that time. So don't look around and call it I sacrificed this one. You chose it because there are people who have been put in your particular position, but we choose to, I don't care about the family and the children, let me go for my career. They choose that one as well. So they shouldn't also look back and say, if not for this career now, maybe I would have been married and I would have had children. You have made a choice that met a need at that time. So stick to it and be grateful. I like that word that Nima used. Be grateful for where you are. Now, what I see is, I just need people to understand, first of all, that there is no time frame for destiny. We are always looking at the other side. It's always greener at the other side. Hey, see Tope now. Tope is now a high flyer. Maybe I should have been doing what she's doing. You are forgetting that you are where you are, doing what you are meant to be doing at the time that you are meant to be doing it. So the only thing that would save you from regrets and looking back and looking at another person is to understand that you are where you are meant to be at the time that you are in. If you are not meant to be here, you will not be here. The universe is not crazy. If you are not meant to be doing what you're doing, you will not be doing what you're doing. So every time that you have, look back and be grateful that, okay, I was able to do this. Okay, now it's time to do this. Like she rightly said, we have seen people who, after raising their children, they went back. Nothing is stopping you from going back to school. Nothing is stopping you from chasing the career. Nothing is stopping you from doing the things you need to do. And if there's no opportunity that society has created for that, you create your own platform. I always say it. You create your own opportunity. So if I had missed out on, let's say, beauty pageantry, right? I did it as a young girl. maybe I wanted to do it, but I didn't have an opportunity to do it. Maybe I got married and everything. And now I get to a point where I'm now missing, hey, I should have done, instead of me sitting down to be asking myself, I should have done, hey, I wish I did. Hey, I will create Mrs. Nigeria, Mrs. Married Woman, Nigeria. Yes. And I will do it. And people that are looking forward to doing things like that will buy into it and will do it together. So it's about taking everything with gratitude and looking out for the opportunities to, you can still do what you can do as long as you have life, you have breath, you have strength, you can do whatever and achieve whatever you want to do at any age.
I love the perspective that I'm hearing on this table. I love the idea of gratitude. I love the idea of taking it as it comes. Personally, I believe in the power of setting goals. I believe in the power of pushing the boundaries. And I really think that we haven't answered the question of if it is possible to be married and still attain life's dreams and ambition, because that is the real question. It is that, is it possible? Let's take a break. When we return, we'll continue with practical ways to make this thing work. We already started with that, so we'll continue on it. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. So we'll be discussing about the sacrifices that both men and women make in the journey of parenthood. And while we are, as women, would look at it from the perspective of the sacrifices women make, there are also sacrifices being made by men.
Of course.
I remember there was a time that I had to remind my husband, like buy yourself clothes, you know, because like every cash that comes in for him goes into us, you know, the family, the children. It was a case of like, take care of yourself, you know, like you can actually buy some things for yourself. Just a reminder, because the thought of the man is, my job is to be responsible. I can only take care of myself out of the surplus and abundance I have gotten. Yes, it is when my children look fine, my house is okay, before I can now start thinking of, okay, what am I going to do for myself? But going back to the question I asked before we went on a break, and I love the perspective in which BC was already directing us, which is, how do we empower ourselves to live our life and be fulfilled despite the fact that we are making seasonal sacrifice? And what can cause people to find regret even when they should be joyful about the sacrifices that they have made? Nima.
Okay.
I think that second one is going to be personal, because like, how can somebody regret? Like, you should be happy. I have children, but what can make that person, what can trigger regrets even after you have seen the
ingratitude? So God forbid that, you know, the sacrifices that we've made are not appreciated. Even in relationships, as if the other person, you think, oh, let me give up all of this so that we would, you know, God forbid we have ungrateful people. Even our people say, God forbid picking, we're not pitying mama, because of the sacrifices that we give per time. And it's important that the people who are receiving this consider it a worthy sacrifice, knowing it. So that's why they say, tell your story to your children. Explain, give them. Say, I for day London, no. Now London money I share. I can go London. I for day this is because of this and this and that. I'm not being selfish. I for do that and that and that. So that people know it. When you know, sometimes in those days, our parents give up life for us. When we now get there and we say, Baba, I need to focus on me, because somebody has just said, you know, it has to be me first. And the father is looking at you like, you first, bow. You know, that's where the unfulfillment comes. A wholesome
when ingratitude faces your sacrifice.
Yes.
Let me take this call from Solomon. Yes, called in from Abulegba. Welcome to the show. Good morning. Hello, Solomon. Are you still there?
Yeah, I only want to contribute my own to the ongoing issue. You see, like somebody feel he has forfeited his or her marriage for one thing or the other. It's not the issue, because in the Bible agrees that there is time for everything being done on earth. And with a proper planning, if you plan yourself and your time with whatever you want to do, you will do it at the right time. Most especially if you put it in prayer, you will but what really matters is that you say when tree fall upon tree, you just hold the one of top so that you can bring out the one under the tree. So there is a time for everything, and you do everything according to your time. That's why I supported the idea of Olabisi Obiayulu. He said and Auntie Abigail, no, marriage is not, they don't force somebody into marriage It gives his or her time, except in the north where they used to give out children for money. Because under proper planning, you can only marry when you want. When you want to marry at the right time. Thank you. That is my own contribution.
Thank you so much. You know this thing of time for everything, but there are times when some things have passed. There's time for everything, but there are times when this thing that you could have done, you can't do it because the time has passed. It's like when you see videos on Instagram where very, very old couples are now traveling. They're like, travel when you are young, when it's sweet. Not that you are now sleeping off inside the cruise, or because you can't really, like, they say when you wake up is your morning, but if you wake up at night, you will not see sun, no.
But
there will be no sunlight.
But you agree that you agree that it's not everything in life that you achieve.
Yeah.
So long as you're human, you can't achieve everything you possibly need or want. It comes as nature and universe gives you. So there's something I want to say. I would like to say that, first of all, you have to know your dreams. Hold on to your dreams first. Be clear about your dreams. We know that there are pathways to achieving your goals. Once you get to that path and you feel, okay, should I shade it? Should I update it? You cannot come back to that conversation. When you get to the bridge, you cross it. But one thing I want to also say is getting the right support system is very, very important. Some women are where they are and they are doing great things because of the support systems they have. They have husbands, they have fathers, they have mentors who have said, yes, go for it. I'm standing by you. It means that if you have to write an exam the next morning and you just had a child, your husband can say, sleep, honey, or go and read. And then he takes care of the child. You're going to school the next morning, he's taking care of the child while you're going there. Some men will tell you, your work is to be in the kitchen. I don't care what education you want to go and do. You have to pound yam for me. We have people like that. And it's not just for the women. Men and women. They face these things are like, a man will want to exceed and say, your wife is nagging you out, you can't concentrate in the house, you don't have peace of mind, you can't excel at work because of the kind of house, the kind of hell you come back to at home. So I want to say the right support system. Now, I feel like, as I said, on our way to achieving our dreams, there are certain things we see and there are certain important decisions we make that will either lead us to achieving those dreams or shading them. Let me use, for instance, there's this guy I was almost married to. I just had my first degree. I wanted to go for my master's, and he just had his first degree. And the next thing he says is, why will you go for master's? I will go before you. Nobody needed to tell me that.
Competition.
Do you want to get to this dream? Then this is not who you need. Do you understand? So I had to shade that aspect of life to achieve what I want to achieve. Let me
it's important to see the flag as it's waving red. Let me take Peter. Welcome to the show. Good morning. Peter from Benue.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Good. Yeah, I want to contribute to, could someone sacrifice her dream on the basis of marriage? I certainly do not agree on the basis of marriage. Shouldn't be on the basis of marriage.
It shouldn't be on the basis of marriage.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I've seen many people, especially women, sacrifice their dreams for marriage. She's supported someone.
The line is not so clear.
Really,
I can't really. So sorry, Mr. Peter. He said the sacrifices shouldn't be made on the basis of marriage.
That's why we didn't put it like that.
Yes,
we said it's life.
Yeah.
No, but the truth is, sacrifices can be made on the basis of marriage. Because if you've gotten married, the people that marry and relocate, we like it when we hear that somebody married and they relocated abroad. You know, it sounds nice, but it's still.
And again, the marriage is
choice.
I made a sacrifice. If you decide, if I'm married to you and you get a job that is meaning that I need to leave where we are staying and go to where we are. I was having a conversation with somebody that in the US, and the person was like, 5 years ago, my husband said, 6 years ago, my husband said we should move to Canada. We moved. 2 years ago, now he said we should go to America. I'm like, I keep moving.
Yes.
I keep moving
Yes.
because he said we should move, and I realized that it's
And you chose to move.
but if I don't move, I'm losing my marriage. So you have
So
to move.
you see, that takes you back to the beginning. So you don't want to lose your marriage because the marriage is fulfilling something.
you,
and so
yeah.
you choose
Your
to
marriage.
move.
Exactly.
So that you can get that fulfillment that marriage is giving you. It's not so much of a sacrifice. I want us to just explain it that
know
way.
when
So it
you
makes
say-
it easy for people to not to just sit back and say, after everything I did for you. You
They
did
did
for
not
me
ask you to
for
do it,
a
but
reason.
They asked you to do it.
They did not ask you to do it, they asked you to do it. But you chose to do it because there are
asked you.
people in that space who will
Because
still
you
not
want to
do
even
it.
satisfy something in
There
you.
are people in that
ask me-
space who will still not do it, right? But you chose to do it because of the fulfillment that is before you.
Acknowledge your choice.
Acknowledge that
Always
you
make a
chose
choice. Don't
to do
be
it.
compelled.
And
like
be
that word,
grateful. That's
acknowledge
why
it.
you don't start looking at it like I now
missed
sacrifice,
out.
I missed
Yeah.
out.
Sacrifice
Yeah.
So there's
like
something
that.
I want
you can't
to-
ask me. Sorry, Abigail.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
You can't ask me to do something for you and think I did it just for you. You are important to me if I choose to do it for you.
yes.
But that you're
But-
coming out of your own, just come and say, okay, auntie, this is what I. That's not how it
yeah,
works.
Some
True.
people are being compelled.
Some of us rationalize things.
People are
say,
being
but
compelled.
Because they want to be
That-
compelled.
that's-
being
that-
compelled.
then-
In marriages,
then that is not a choice.
Some
Yes.
marriages, they are compelling.
Compelling.
I've read a story. This one, I even like. I know the person that wrote it.
They're tired.
That they told. She was
No,
told to
they're
resign.
tired.
Like
To leave the
she
job.
was told to resign.
Okay, so
and
what happened
in
to her
order
choice?
to remain in her job, she left the marriage.
Okay.
So that
One
one
has
thing
to
had to
give
go.
in.
Yes.
So when you
She
said that,
choose well.
so when you
she choose well because that
chose.
compelling her to resign.
Yes.
For what? Are they sitting together and processing the thing and seeing which one is more important? So if, for instance, this is your job now, oh, this is what I'm earning, this is what I'm earning, you are the best, you are the highest earner between myself and my husband, and for the sake of the children, something has to go. This is what we are going to do later.
they do that one a lot
No, that one is not compelling. We are both processing
Yes.
it. I will
So-
gladly choose my kids
Go through that
so that my
process.
husband can focus and provide.
if they don't go through that process,
Yes,
we have
but
a
if
case
he
of
comes
being
and says
compelled.
it is you, go and resign that
That's
job.
why you
or
need
else
a
this
good
marriage is at
support
stake.
system.
If you stay in that marriage, he will still not fulfill you.
Yeah,
because he will
yeah.
continue to use that as a weapon
True,
to harm
Yes.
you.
True.
So can I answer
So
the
you go
question
choose
you asked
well.
initially, which
Open
is,
your brain.
are married people, men or women now,
Is it possible to achieve their dream?
is it possible to achieve, yes, their dreams when they are married? It's super possible, and we are living examples of achieving our dreams when we are married, right?
Yeah.
While we're still in the marriage. However, there are certain things that you must check, and I like the example you gave. If you marry wrong, it will truncate your destiny. And you have
stop.
opportunities to check whether this is wrong or right. Unfortunately, we close our eyes when we are dating and open it why in marriage. You are supposed to open your eye why while you are dating, then close one in marriage. That's the right
Because you
thing.
must look
Because
less,
you
oh.
must, yes, you must see things that
You
you
go
are not
see
supposed to
things.
see.
Thank
No matter
God
how
no
sweet
stress,
the marriage
stress.
is, you will see things that sometimes you have to just like,
Yes,
are you
I
sure I'm
know.
the one? But because you have done the right checks in the beginning, some of the things you now see in the marriage are not, they are lesser evils that you can deal with. The main work is before you do the marriage. So imagine you had married somebody who was ready to compete with you now. I must do masters first before you. I have more degrees than my husband. I'm the scholar in the house. And the other day was like, auntie, only you are this, you're that, you're that. Me, I'm just here with how many?
And he's okay with it.
And he's okay.
He's not threatened.
You know, he wasn't threatened at all. He was just teasing me that, auntie, tomorrow night, come and tell me you want to go to another school. I say, yes, I'm still looking for the one I want to go to, right? Imagine me marrying somebody who will see it as competition.
Ego.
So why are you getting it before me? You see it in the relationship. You ignore, you enter. Then in marriage, you are complaining that it's not letting me shine. It's not letting, it did not let you shine in the relationship. So why did you enter? Which magic do you want to do?
Yeah.
So you can truncate your destiny if you marry
Knowingly.
wrong. Knowingly, if you marry wrong.
Yeah.
Now, if you marry right, there are compromises that you will make.
Yeah.
First of all, I chose to be a classroom teacher. I got a job in the bank when I finished NYSC, UBA. And he was already in the bank. And I said, two of us will be coming back late. Why don't I take a job that would
That
give
gives you
me
time.
time to nurture my kids? And so
Yeah.
I got into
That will not
teaching.
be sacrificing.
And my kids were with me. I
Yeah.
would take a break from classroom. I'll go and breastfeed. I'll come back.
concession.
With all these sort of
That's
dreams
right.
I had, many people did not understand why I chose to teach. My
Yes.
friends were laughing at me that, hey, after
Teacher.
all the this
All
way
the
you
mouth.
finish, now classroom teacher you end up. But I had a goal, I had a vision.
Yeah.
And I knew that the person I was with, anytime I wake up and say I want to fly, he will
will
support
say,
me.
"How fly,
but for
baby?"
now, let me nurture these kids to a certain level, and that's where many women find themselves, because something must give at the time that you're nurturing, except you're not a nurturer. Something must give. The bank MDs that come here and tell us, they will tell you at some point they had to suspend their career because they wanted
so
to
they
bond
can
with their
achieve
children. And when that time is over, you go back and find your way. Nobody is stopping you from going back and finding your way. So you sitting down and not saying, because I missed out at that time, it's over for me. It's where the problem
So
is.
we'll take a break now. When we return, we'll discuss more about sacrifices that are not involved in marriage. You know, when we make, sometimes we call it sacrifice because we don't want to acknowledge the decisions
That's
we have
our
made.
choice.
It's our choice. And so it's easy to say, I made the sacrifice for you. But actually, you
What
made
were
a
you
decision.
gaining?
You made a decision yourself, and you have to be willing
What were
to
you gaining?
deal with the consequences of that decision. We also make decisions when it comes to our everyday life in the office, corporate world, making a choice to do this job or stay in that work, or changing career paths. And we'll discuss all those when we return from the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.